Hey guys, it's Mia here and welcome back once again to another video. Now, if you guys watched my last anime related video that I posted on Friday, then you will know that people were posting suggestions of what anime I should review next in the comments. And one of my friends, my online friends, told me to check out a little anime called Dance with Devils. And so I looked it up. I was able to find it, and it was only 12 episodes long. So I'm like, I could watch this in one sitting and then do the review right after. So at the time of recording this, I finished it just yesterday. So the thoughts are still fresh in my mind. Now, the main people for this anime are Rim, Ritsuka, Lindo, and Asuna. Now, first of all, when I heard Asuna's name, I immediately thought of Sword Art Online because of Kirito and Asuna. Now, if I don't pronounce the names exactly right, please don't hate me. I'm trying my best, even though I watched the dub version. Now, when I say this anime is short, I mean it is pretty short. Where the last anime I reviewed, which was Dabakios Lovers, 24 episodes, and each of the episodes were only like, once you cut out the end credits and the beginning credits, it was only like 10 minutes per episode, but it felt way longer than that. This anime is half that length, but the episodes are about 20 minutes long. So, I was told that this anime was kind of along the lines of the Dabaculous Lovers, and I could see how it kind of relates to it, but in my opinion, it was so much better than the Dabaculous Lovers, because in Dabaculous Lovers, each episode was unbelievably repetitive. It was literally just the same story throughout each episode, and none of the characters changed at the end of it. I'm like, why the fuck did I bother watching this show? But this Dances with Devils actually had progression. It actually had growth of the characters. In Dances with Devils, there's actually a storyline. It is more along the lines of like Vampire Knight, which I, again, very much enjoyed. Now, with our main cast, girl is Ritsuka, and she ends up thrown into this world that she doesn't want to be in, and she meets the student council. The guys that she meets are the student council, but the main one that has the biggest pull towards her is Reem, the guy I showed in the picture. Now, Reem is very protective of her, and we find out that the devils, I don't know why they call them devils, because it makes more sense just to call them demons, but they call them devils. I don't know. But the devils are after a grimoire to make themselves stronger, or to awaken their king and make him more powerful. So they're after this grimoire. And in looking for the grimoire, they find themselves drawn to Ritsuka, and so her brother, which is Lindo, and her friend, which is Asuna, have to protect her from not only the devils, but also the vampires and other devils that come after her. And I really enjoyed the story. I really did, because I like that kind of mystery, like, why do they think she has the grimoire? Why does her family know but they don't tell her? And I really like a good mystery. I really like stories like that, because we as the viewers get to figure out the stuff with the character. And you get to see how it affects her as a character or him as a character. I'm a sucker for a good mystery. If you give me a good mystery that's not kind of spoon-fed to us, I'm all for it. I'm eating that shit up because I love a good mystery. But the most annoying thing in this entire anime for me was I didn't realize it was a musical because it didn't really tell me it was a musical on where I found to watch it. So I'm sitting here like watching the show, the storyline's progressing nicely, I'm invested, I'm ready to watch more and keep watching, and then all of a sudden this like out of place, over edited, like intro sequence comes up. And I do watch the dub, so it was very like, I don't know how to say it, it took me out of the story as soon as they started going into these musical numbers, because not only were they dramatically edited different from the actual story going on in the show, but the dubbing company that dubbed it in English did not even bother to dub the songs. I don't know if they wanted to save money on getting different singers for it or what, but it was just so jarring to me to go from English dub to all the singing being done in its original Japanese voiceover. And not only that, but I really didn't think that the animation fit in what was happening, because it was like they'd be walking along and all of a sudden they're in like this dark realm that's completely separate from where we were originally. And I get that that's a stylistic choice, but it threw me out of the show. I was like, at first when I started watching it, because it didn't tell me in the description that it was a musical, I thought it was the intro sequence, and I'm like, okay, I'll just skip this. But when it kept happening, I decided to look it up, and that's when I finally found out it was a musical. And to me, the show would have worked much better if it was not a musical, because it flowed so much better when there was no random singing that was differently edited from the original. I think honestly that this is the first like animated musical that I've ever watched, and I don't think I want to watch another one, because if they're like this one was, it was such a dramatic jump from the story to like the musical portions, and they did not bother to dub over the musical portions. I don't know if that was a budget cut or what, but other than like the intrusive musical sections that just popped up random out of nowhere, it was a pretty good show. And it's not like it takes long to watch like some anime, which is 600 episodes, so you gotta watch it for a whole year to be able to finish the damn thing. No, it was a quick little bite-sized anime, and you know, sometimes I really enjoy those because I want to watch an anime, but I don't want to have to invest so much time into finding a good one. And that was a nice touch for me. I don't think it needed any more seasons because it did wrap up nicely. I thought the animation was nice, although the voice acting, I will say, was kind of meh for me, even though it was dubbed over by Funimation, I believe, which is the same one that did Fairy Tail, so I was surprised at how bad the voice acting was. Ritsuka's voice actor sounded like she was struggling to stay in a high voice. Now, I'm not a voice actor, but I have heard other voice actors say if you're not comfortable staying in a certain range, then you shouldn't do that certain range, because you're going to constantly lose that accent or that voice that you made for that character. Or people, like I did with Ritsuka, are going to tell that you're very uncomfortable trying to stay high notes. And for me, listening to Ritsuka talk was like nails on a chalkboard, because you could tell she's a lower voice person trying to do this high note character to make her seem more innocent. But when she did slip out of that higher voice and actually like let her natural voice show, it was so much easier to listen to, but then she'd bounce right back into the higher notes, and I'm like, why? Just stick with a lower voice. Now, I don't know if that was her dubbing director or whatnot, but sometimes to sound innocent, you don't need to be like high-pitched whistle notes. You don't need to. You can just let your natural voice shine through, because other times it's really grating for the person to listen to, because you know they're forcing this voice because it in no way sounds natural. And then there's Rim. Rim was very monotoned. Like, there were only like a couple of times when you could hear the emotion in his voice. Other than that, it was kind of flat. Now, I don't know if that was supposed to be his character's personality or if it was just the voice actor struggling to put emotion into it as he read, but his voice could honestly put me to sleep if I was just listening to his voice, because he barely changes pitch. He barely shows emotions. It's always like, Rin, you're with me. I can't even do it without sounding like a robot. But, you gotta let some emotion show. You gotta let your voice change. It's natural for your voice to change and, drop or go up when you're excited. But he doesn't do that. He just sits there, flatlining his words the whole time. And I'm like, I can't listen to Ritsuka talk because she's like nails on a chalkboard trying to keep the high voice. I can't listen to Rim talk because he's fixing to put me to sleep. Asuna, I don't think that Asuna's voice actor did too bad, and I was kind of happy with Asuna's storyline and how she fits into the story. I really enjoyed Asuna, as a character, and not just because she shares the same name with Asuna from Sword Art Online, but I really enjoyed her character. She's kind of the smart-ass, best friend, and I like those characters if they're done well, and I think Asuna was done well, and she was actually voiced well. Now, the voice actor I think did the best for me out of, the main ones are Lando. When he got pissed, when his character got pissed, you could hear the anger in his voice. You could hear that he was just ready to destroy somebody. And when he was sad, his voice was gentle and you could hear the emotion in his voice. He was definitely the best voice actor in the whole show. And I think his voice talents showed that. And he should have been voicing the main guy instead of the brother/cousin. Oh, speaking of the brother to cousin, what is it with Japan and turning cousins into lovers? They are still family. That's disgusting. I'm not hating if you do that, but they are still related to you by blood, even though cousins are kind of distantly related. I'm like, okay, he's her brother, but why does he not look like her? Oh wait, he's her cousin. And then I'm like, oh, they're gonna pull this, aren't they? I'm sitting there thinking, oh, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Just let them be cousins. Please don't. And then he's like, I love you, Ritsuka. And I'm like, you did it. You had to do it. Ugh. Cousins are still family. It is still incest, and that is nasty. I don't get what the fascination with turning characters incest is. I don't get it. I got it in Vampire Knight. They're vampires. They're beasts. They're not human. That was fine. I get that to keep them pure-blooded, they have to mate with pure bloods. I understood it there. Was it still gross? Yes, it was still gross. But I understood it. In this, it makes no damn sense. You're cousins. Stop with the I love yous. And it's not like he meant it as platonic love. No, he wanted to mate with his cousin. I wish that would stop in anime. That is so gross. Anyway, so when I was recommended this anime on my last anime review, the person that recommended it in the comments kind of recommended it like it was a bad show and it was gonna make me laugh, or like I was just going to think it was so terrible. But like I said, other than the intrusive music scenes, which could have been cut, it did not need to be a musical. I thought the show was really enjoyable. It wrapped up really well over such the amount of short time that it did. And I wouldn't mind watching more like this, at least without the musical element. So, yeah. So what are your thoughts down below? Or like before, if you want to recommend me an anime, then leave a comment down below. So, as always, I hope you guys enjoy and hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.